Now, how about this? I just thought of this. So it's like, we see how easy it is for Marva to make these characters. What if she literally just makes another one?
Could. And then, but the whole thing is, if they're going to like put some more lore into it, Arinsu can ask Marva, like, what base did you use to create the last Boo that was more demonic?
Yeah.
And if they're going to recreate a whole nother Boo.
Yes.
Because Kuu sucks.
Right now, he's a joke.
Oh, that's that good.
Yo. It's your boys. Brother Ooch. It's me. And we are the Full Power Podcast. Okay. Let's go. We're back again once again. Yes. All right, everybody. Welcome back for episode 176 of the Full Power Podcast. It's your boys. It's your host that tries to know the most. Ooch, I'm out here. Of course, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, my own flesh and blood, Brother Ooch, right now representing the LA Lakers. I got you that for Christmas last year, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Reppin'.
I'm glad. That's the one thing that I seem to be able to rely on is I may not, you may not take my advice on anime recommendations, but I know the good shit you'll actually stay wearing,
It's comfortable.
There it is. And there it is.
It matches with certain things I can wear. So.
And there it is. That's very true. So as always, guys, just to get the quick plugs out of the way, obviously, we do shout you guys out if you're a Thriving Ozaro, a real one, part of the gang. So head on over to the Patreon page if you want some more episodes, some exclusive behind-the-scenes content, and a lot of other things that you will find for yourselves right on there. There's an exclusive Discord as well. So again, make sure you are heading over to patreon.com/Full Power Podcast. And that is the best way to directly support us in doing this and we're trying to get towards a full-time status. And speaking of Patreon, not only do we have one, I also have one. And that's going to be specifically catered towards the reactions. If you're coming from any of the Dragon Ball Daima reactions, well, if you want to see more reactions, I just made a Twitch page that will be the new home for where I will be doing reactions live with you guys and audience, and there will not be VODs. So in order to be in there, you got to be there for the stream. So make sure you're following that channel and then also checking out the Patreon associated to that because the uncut versions of those reactions will be on there. And if the schedule lines up, then I'll have you on them at some point. But yeah, we'll figure that out. That's neither here nor there. But we're here today, of course, to talk to y'all about the latest episode of Dragon Ball Daima, episode 10, which was called Ocean. So I guess we could get right into it. So with Ocean, the theme of this episode, I guess, was to essentially give you guys the setting. There was a lot of water. There was an ocean. There was a kraken, and the kraken was like the big, I guess, threat in this episode. And funny enough, when you look back at what we were saying last week for episode 9, or at the end of episode 9, we were really thinking like, okay, episode 10, we're getting this next Dragon Ball. Tamagami 1's gonna get defeated, and boy, were we wrong. Because the first things first, and I guess we could kind of talk about the events of this episode in order, because this is a pretty easy episode to review and to break down. Majin Kuu.
Terrible.
I'm not going to lie. I was not expecting that.
This is like such a disgrace. Low key. This reminds me of how shit fucking Cell was.
Oh, Cell Max.
Like Cell Max.
And Superhero.
It's like they're fucking up the OG Johns.
Yeah. I mean, like I've mentioned before, it's one of those, like, we're in the nostalgia era still, and they're trying to knock out all of the last bits and remains of what a lot of fans grew up with. Frieza, I think, and I actually know, Now looking at how things are, Frieza has been the only character kept intact.
That's what I'm on about.
And then some. You feel me? Because Frieza not only just got revived and came back in Resurrection F and all that, my man got a new form, and then he got a new form in the manga.
Yeah.
And this was and in between that, he was a part of the one of the biggest arcs in Dragon Ball Super with the Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
So then you look at how they handle Cell, and it's like, well, Cell didn't actually get brought back, but he was essentially like remade.
Cell couldn't even speak. Now it's like the reverse with Boo.
Yeah.
Now he's intelligent, apparently, in a sense. You know, like
Yeah.
he could speak and stuff like that, but he's not as strong as we imagined.
Right.
As
yeah.
like for the remake. So these remakes they're not up to par with with how we imagine them to be. Both Cell and Boo.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's how it is. It was kind of sad to see, cuz like it was funny at first when, like, you know, he was having a whole on conversation with Tamagami 1. By the way, Tamagami 1, fire. I love that character.
Tamagami 1
OD.
You could tell he's number 1.
My man, exactly. He has that aura.
Yeah, it's that aura.
He has that astuteness. Like he held that sword like he was Heimdall. Legit. Except it was like a Buster sword.
I would say like Cloud.
Buster sword. That's what.
Okay,
That's
okay.
what.
That's what you
Yeah. That's what his sword's called. Is the Buster sword. So yeah, he had like Heimdall Cloud energy, right? And what was really cool, aside from what I just said, he also looked like a Kamen Rider, which is like, you know, that's for me. But like, he was not phased.
He didn't even look like he was trying.
No.
Like he was like just teleporting behind him, just showing how like quick he was and shit like that.
Yes.
He could have went in for the kill at any point, honestly.
Yes.
And it felt like he's intelligent to know how strong he is, and like he didn't kill him in a sense. You know what I mean? Like he was just defending the Dragon Ball in a sense. Like,
well, right. I mean, that's the whole name of the game with people challenging. It's like it's not a game of death or a fight to the death. It's, you know, we're trying to see, they're both combatants are trying to see if the challenger can defeat the defender, which is the Tamagamis, and they're all designed to be as strong and, I guess, equipped for whatever fight. And once they realize that they cannot hang with whoever is trying to take the ball, they just award them the ball because that's the prize. Now, a lot of us, and especially here, we thought that the Tamagami, that the Tamagami was just going to get worked. And that is not what happened at all. Majin Kuu, first of all, I will appreciate the thing about this, you know, Majin Kuu character is that he has personality just off of how he was switching up his fighting styles. Like, he was very all over the place. At first, he sounded like he was like on some Bruce Lee shit, where he's right, like he was doing all that. And then he like switched it up and he started fighting like very animalistic, like he was rolling on the floor and doing all this shit. Tamagami 1, unfazed, didn't even move, didn't say nothing. He wasn't even just like he didn't even make comments at Majin Kuu. Like, he didn't even say like,
he didn't even have to. He was just looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you challenged me? Like, type of thing.
That's facts. That's definitely facts. So I don't know.
I mean, it might not be the end for Kuu.
Not
you know,
yet,
they might throw him back in that pot and try to remake his bitch ass. You're not gonna lie, upgrade him, because Arensu is not happy.
She fired him.
She's going to.
She said, "I'm going to fire you. You're fired." Literally, it was 2 sentences connected to each other.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So like that's another one of my things though. Is like they like, okay. I don't want to make it sound like they hyped him up for X amount of episodes, because realistically, he was brought up at the end of the last episode, and based off of, like, you know how they say, like a picture paints like 1,000 words, or like, you know what I'm saying, like it has 1,000 meanings or whatever. Off of what we saw with how he was born and the last look that he had on his face, everybody thought that he was giving like demon type of energy, like, oh yeah, he might be sadistic, he might be crazy. I mean, look, I was even saying this guy might try to play them, and who knows, maybe he still might be. But from what this struggle that he had was given, bro, like, and Arinsu was just like, I can't believe this. So
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know, but you might be onto something too by predicting that she might go right back to Marba.
I would think so after that performance. There's no way they don't revisit Marba and they try to upgrade him or fix him or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Because however Marba made the OG Boo, she did it the right way. He was just not
You couldn't
intelligent.
control him or whatever.
That, and he couldn't speak in Kid Buu form.
Yeah, and like the other thing, and the other interesting part is that like they also emphasized in episode 9 that when they used Arinsu's saliva is in part of the mixture to make Majin Kuu, that was done so that she basically had full control over him on a mental status. Like she could, I guess, command him at will. But like we didn't really get that.
No, not really. She just told him to fight him. That was the most she did.
Yeah, and then he basically took the helm. So it's like he was created, I guess, in such a way where he has an obvious connection to her. Like they have their relationship is basically like master and servant in a way. But like I don't know, like I guess that was like the first big upset disappointment I will say about this.
Right behind some ass.
And that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, nah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. But then aside from that, so the episode, of course, starts off with that fight, and they gave us a little taste. Majin Kuu was doing a lot of different cool things, little mouth blast, some other types of Kid Buu looking ass moves. So it was like, okay, like he's definitely within that, realm of comparability, I guess.
His key energy is green too.
Right.
But that's probably part of the Cyberman.
I mean, yeah, like he's green.
Yeah.
And Buu was pink, so Buu had pink Johns.
Whatever that pink base was, need to go back to that. Cause
yeah, the fucking ice cream or whatever it was.
Who knows, man?
Yeah. So then they go back and forth between other shots to check on the heroes of the story. We're getting some information on like the Demon World too, and the first thing I said as soon as they pulled up, they passed Warp Sama. They did the whole thing where they made Goku's ears look pointy again. So they just kind of given that little tease as a reminder again. You mentioned like Warp Sama mad nosy, asking all these questions, but it's a security guard. It has to ask all those questions. So they go through. They also make a point to mention that, oh, well, if we have the passcode of the Genda Marie, then shouldn't we just be able to go straight to World 1? And they were just like, nah, we still got to go to World 2 because, we're trying to turn back into adults and then obviously get Dragon Ball and meet with Vegeta, whatever. So they're in World 2, and the first thing that I say, I'm like, this looks like Namek, right? So World 2 definitely heavily reminds us all about Namek, and then further along the episode, we actually get to see like their planet, which is like a floating island or whatever, that is basically Namek as we all remember it, which is really cool to see. And I'm skipping around, but like it's all connected. Like, and at the end we see Neba, right? So Neba was there. So we never actually saw what they did with him after episode 1.
No.
Like after the first episode where they dragged him along, he got the Dragon Balls of Earth, they made the wish, and then they dipped. We didn't see Goma and Degasu drop him off, right? So like I guess we were all under the assumption that Neba was just gonna be there with Goma, but that's not the case. So Neba was seen in this second world, demon world of the demon realm, but he had no interaction with anybody.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I mean, he was just walking up to the plane, so probably next episode they're probably gonna they're gonna start off with that, they're probably gonna walk outside the plane because they see him,
Right.
or he's gonna do something to make him come out, and they're gonna have another conversation or whatever the case may be, type shit. And then I don't know what's gonna happen from there. But I mean, we know Tamagami 1 is that man. Tamagami 2, they showed us in the preview that they're fighting Tamagami 2. So
He's got a trident.
yeah, I didn't Pete.
Yeah, he's using a trident. They all have weapons. So Tamagami 3
Had, like,
had
a
the
hammer
Thor
shit.
hammer. Tamagami 1 had like Klaus Buster sword a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Tamagami 2 is about to have a trident, which makes sense because this is a very water-based world, it looks like. And, tridents are,
Yeah.
they kind of go with the theme, it's like Poseidon, all that shit.
Mhm.
You were going to say something?
Well, like I said, I'm pretty sure I said Vegeta was gonna fight Tamagami 2.
Oh,
he's fighting Tamagami too.
Yeah,
so.
yes. In that preview as well, it is confirmed that Vegeta will be going head to head with Tamagami 2. So I'm glad that Vegeta is getting his fucking time. Okay, I'm glad that he's gonna get his opportunity to do so. So I guess, see, we've made so many predictions. I'm kind of losing track of some of the ones that we've made, but I'm pretty sure we were in line with how this was going to go originally when we were making these predictions. Like obviously Goku got the first one, and then now Vegeta's gonna presumably get the second one. And so now that we thought Majin Kuu was gonna get the fucking third one, aka the first one, right? Now we're going back to what we originally thought, where it's like, okay, well, I'm also okay. I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, but like I have a question now for you. Like, so do you think that, let's say Majin Kuu actually doesn't get an upgrade, doesn't go back to challenge Tamagami 1 to like show his worth, and it ends up actually falling into the hands of Goku and Vegeta, right? Do you think that they are each gonna try by themselves and then realize, damn, like Tamagami 1 is that nice, we actually can't defeat him by ourselves, and then that's what triggers the fusion bug.
Fusion bug. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah,
especially if they got it.
Right.
If Goku picked it up, I'm pretty sure he did. But that's very possible. And like, I mean, we don't know if we're getting the whole Super Saiyan 4 shit, because if Super Saiyan 4 happens individually, then I don't know if he would really get that, the fusion. But if Goku picked up the fusion bug, then it makes sense to see.
Right.
Gogeta, right, in this case? Or is it Vegeta?
Well,
yeah, wait.
No, it might be a new character.
That would be ridiculous.
Hey, think about it.
Demon World.
Demon World exclusive fusion bug ass Saiyan fusion. Yeah.
That would kind of be crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
so it would be more closely to Vegito, if anything, because
maybe
right, because it's identical to the earrings.
I would think so,
but it's bug.
Right.
So,
it's something they eat, and then
listen. If they're gonna use that shit, and they're fusing together, it better be something cool. Character wise. If he's ugly or some shit, that's gonna be very disappointing.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that's if it happens.
No one's gonna like a non-appealing looking character. I mean, even the last week, people were, making their jokes about who Majin Kuu even looks like. Yeah, I mean, it's a Cyberman base. Like, what the fuck do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Like there were people that thought he looked like some other characters that were in like older Dragon Ball Z movies or whatever. Like, I don't even remember. Yeah, I'm like, there was a lot, and I'm just like, damn, people are really comparing this character to a lot of different characters that he looks similar to. Now, the one that stuck out to me the most was drawing the comparison to like Golden Frieza. And I'm just like, wow, when you put them side to side, it's like, yeah, they kind of
do. The face and shit. But.
And the color scheme a little bit, but, obviously Kuu's more green than, yellow. But, it is very similar. I'll give him that. But, yeah. And then aside from that, I mean, as far as the episode goes, we we see Goku and his gang get into some Kraken trouble, as well as getting shot down by the other Gendarmerie that were on their tail, and they almost lost the Dragon Ball. They almost lost the Dragon Ball.
That would have cost it.
But shout out, yes, you said that. But shout outs to our girl Pansy, who made sure that before they abandoned ship, literally, she went and put her life on the line for this fucking Dragon Ball. Okay, so she's a real one. She's a real one. Goku saved her, of course, and they were able to escape, and no one got hurt, which is nice. The Kraken, which is this ginormous sea creature, okay, later in the episode, when Goku's talking to Vegeta, he literally tells him, like, yeah, nah, we can't handle this guy right now.
That's crazy.
Yo,
I think that's a little ridiculous.
But you know what's funny is that that's not something you really see often in a show like Dragon Ball, where you have these super overly powered characters that are not even human. They are an actual alien race from another freaking planet that we've seen how much they've progressed in their strength and everything. To then say, yeah, no, we can't handle something like that. That to me is insane.
Yeah,
because that provides so much more for said creature. Because look at as Saiyans, they could destroy planets. So you telling me that this Kraken is too much
than a Super Saiyan?
Right.
That's crazy.
Right.
Work.
That's what makes it silly.
Motherfucker just defeated Tamagami 3. He's gonna say a Kraken stronger in the second world. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think he was just saying some shit.
Maybe. I don't know.
But you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, personally, when it comes to that logic, I think that the Saiyans would be able to handle their own against any creature that was planet bound, like that can't, and like yeah, granted, like it was a huge sea monster type shit, but it's just like, I think the foes that they've had to deal with in the past, where they output an immense amount of power, it's like, bro, they can handle that shit. Don't even kid.
Yeah, I mean, but next episode, we'll see what happens. I mean, it should be way better than this one, because we were just honestly disappointed in the Tamagami 1 versus Kuu fight. It was not. It did not display the amount of action we foresaw.
Yeah.
So episode 11?
Yeah.
Episode 11 should bring us back a little bit.
And it's called Legend.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, if this episode is gonna be the break episode, it better be one like to kind of remember. So like, I'm gonna say Vegeta's probably gonna go Super Saiyan.
Yeah, that's an easy thing to predict. I'll
take care of it. Take care of business.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see if he can finish the job.
Yeah.
Because if he can't finish the job, then Goku's low-key gonna have to step in, which would be interesting.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't think
I'm
that
pretty
would
sure this is
happen.
Vegeta's. Like, they got to give it to him because it's only fair.
Yeah, they're gonna give it to him, and then when they get to the first world, then they'll worry about fucking Tamagami 1. I think Goku's gonna obviously take that challenge first. But they're probably, before they even get to Tamagami 1, they're probably gonna have to get through like Goma's genderman fucks.
The Gendarmerie.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what we saw in the intro and shit, where they're fighting.
Oh, right.
You
Yeah.
see that? It's probably gonna happen like once
Mhm.
they get there or something like that.
Yeah.
Before, I would imagine it would be before Tamagami 1, but we'll see how that pans out. Because they could try to trap them to see like if they defeat Tamagami 1 first,
Yeah.
and then once they obtain the Dragon Ball, then they all try to swarm them and shit.
Mm.
That could happen, but I feel like they'll.
Like it disrupts the fight.
It's either gonna disrupt the fight. I don't think they would disrupt the fight, especially if Goma and his crew can't beat Tamagami 1, and they're trying to acquire the Dragon Balls for more wishes and shit like that. So you see what I'm saying? That's why I'm thinking like if they're gonna allow them to face Tamagami 1, to get, and then they get the Dragon Ball after that, then they'll try to swarm them, and then that's where we see like the intro and shit where they're fighting.
All right.
That's my kind of prediction, low key.
All right. I'll give you a prediction that I just thought of, and I want to say it now so I don't forget it later on. But So imagine they're in a position, right, where they're fighting against Tamagami 1, and in an effort to preserve Tamagami 1, we do get an unfinished fight. And whether it's Vegeta or Goku or this new fusion character that they would birth up that's up against Tamagami 1, whoever it is, that fight is going to get interrupted by Goma, by the Gendarmerie, and then they're going to have to fight together to then defeat all of this distraction off.
What, the Tamagami? Is
So
gonna join them,
Tamagami,
you think?
not to join them, but Tamagami 1 is going to fight with Goku and friends. And so what's going to end up happening is that, and who knows, maybe at this point, it's Majin Kuu that's actually like stronger. Who knows, right? It could be, doesn't matter who, but the point is that they're going to get interrupted. We're not going to see a clean finish. And so based off of that fight, after the dust settles, Tamagami 1 would be like, here's the Dragon Ball. And so that way, it, like I said, it preserves Tamagami 1. It preserves the character so that it's like, oh, like he never lost type shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I like when they introduce characters that look and feel as cool as that. And then what? Just to see them lose? Like, no, fuck that shit. I want to see them.
He would lose with honor.
I mean, sure, but like, okay, even when Tamagami 3 lost, and we still don't know how Tamagami 2 is gonna lose, but 1, he's just that guy, and we only saw him for a little bit.
Yeah, nah, he just had the aura.
Yeah, see, and that's the kind of, and I love when you have two combatants, like even though like they both are fighting with a purpose, like one is defending something, the other is trying to earn it, right? But then after that, there's a fucking mutual respect.
Yeah.
That is probably one of the best parts of any show, and what makes it even cooler is when they ever get to like intertwine or intermingle again later on in the series because of something else. So it's like, I would love to see Tamagami 1, because like I feel like at that point, because imagine it's like, okay, we have to postpone this fight because it's not about the Dragon Ball anymore. It's about surviving. And at that point, imagine like Tamagami 1 is just like, all right, like we gotta defend ourselves for reals. And they all just go all out, and we get to see like some crazy shit out of Tamagami 1. I think that'd be crazy. Now, hold on. Here's another layer to this prediction. And I remember when I told you, I think it was on last episode when we talked about this, when I said that if you looked closely, and someone pointed this out online, they said that fusion bug, the emblem for it had like 3 people.
Oh my god.
Right? So then the first thought is like, oh, like who? It's like Vegeta, Goku, and who are going to be this fusion of 3 people, right? But I'm like, no, what if it's all 3 Tamagamis?
Oh.
Yeah, son. Imagine if they make a super Tamagami.
That would kind of be ridiculous.
With all 3 of them?
They would have to be in the same world though for that.
That is true. That is true. And I don't know if they're gonna ever have some sort of access to teleporting between the worlds, because they already teased it, or they mentioned it with how Kibito could have been that guy, but they left him back on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, you never know. Like, it would be nice, but
I mean, that would be kind of fucking crazy.
Tamagami 1, 2, and 3 in one character. What the hell would you call that? Super Tamagami?
Super Time. Just that would be the easiest name.
That would be the easiest. Or imagine if they just made Tamagami 4.
Nah.
Tamagami 0 or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that would. Yeah.
That'd be kind of fire. So yeah, so those are my like super advanced predictions for what could happen later on based on the things that we saw. And then the other thing that happened in this episode, before I forget, we did get some lore. We got some new lore out of the Glind end of things with the Supreme Kai and whatnot. So this wasn't like just a Namekian based episode, since it was very reminiscent to Planet Namek and Demon World 2. Supreme Kai, aka what is it? Nahare? That's his name.
Nah, yeah, apparently.
Nahare was explaining that like how everything worked, and this was crazy. Like we're talking lore that starts the beginning of everything. Like
Yeah.
there was a guy Rymus,
Yeah.
and Rymus is the person who created every fucking thing, all the universes.
He's like whatchamacallit from Super. The
Zeno-sama?
He's like Zeno-sama, but for the demon realm.
It's well, yeah, I guess so.
That's what it looked like.
That's what it seemed like too. So yeah, so that's interesting. And then we also got a little glimpse of all the other Glins, like the ones from other universes, like Goasu from I don't even remember what universe number that was, but that's the universe where Goku Black, that whole arc happened.
Yeah.
That's the one. So it's like and it's funny because I actually saw people making like weird jokes about how like, oh yes, look, Super's canon. I'm like, wasn't it fucking always canon? Like, what are we doing? Like, stop it. But anyway, yeah, it was cool to see like some super characters in that way. We also saw the official in full color top to bottom of Deborah's dad, Abura. I'm like, damn, that motherfucker looks crazy.
Fat as hell.
I mean, yeah, he's a big boy for sure. But yeah, no, it was a really cool lore dump, and like he was talking about like the Glin tree, and that like at one point, everything was cool. People could just traverse between the universes, no problem. But then of course Abura comes along and he's trying to fuck shit up, and like, so then all the Glins, the Supreme Kai people, they end up trying to just escape. So they escape off into another universe, and then that's where they kind of inhabit their stuff, and then over time all those Glin trees are just dead, and so that alludes like, oh, so that means that they're a dying race. And yeah, now obviously they've been around for like thousands of years already. They have a really 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 long lifespan, but at some point they will cease to exist, which is also kind of interesting when you consider that based on the overall lore of Dragon Ball now, the Supreme Kais are directly connected and linked to the gods of destruction. So it's like, that would by default then mean that if all the Supreme Kais go, so would they.
I mean, honestly, with the Demon World Dragon Balls, they could easily potentially like wish them to not exist.
True.
Like, like kind of make them reborn or like revive the trees that were destroyed or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
To preserve life and all that. But that is something probably for like later in the show, whenever the Dragon Balls become used. Because isn't like, how many wishes do they get? They get 3 or some shit?
I think, well, I don't think they ever said how many wishes you get in.
They could just wish
Demon
for
World.
anything though. But they're obviously we already know. I'm pretty I feel like it's 3 wishes.
Well,
But,
it's supposed to be 3 on Shenron.
yeah, I know.
Shenron's supposed to grant 3.
But this motherfucker could grant anything.
But we
And
don't know though.
They said they can grant anything, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well, yeah, they did. Yeah, they mentioned that the Demon World Dragon Balls are very strong, and yeah. So go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, no. So I mean, we all know they're gonna, revert from kids back to adults. That's the obvious wish. But I feel like if there's gonna be like another wish or 2, then, that's a possibility of, happening for the Glens. And then I don't know what else they would wish for, honestly, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna honestly predict that far ahead, like as far as what they would wish for, like outside of the obvious. But yeah, I'm just more interested in how the first world interaction is gonna be, because I feel like it's gonna be one of 2 ways. It's either gonna be, they allow them to fight Tamagami 1, or they gotta handle all the gendermen and all that shit first, and then get to Tamagami 1 while Goma's on the sideline in the back line or whatever the case. Because I don't know if they would just I don't know. That's kind of like that's like my prediction overall, like with the information I kind of know right now. But yeah, it could go in like a few directions, but I don't think it would be interesting if it's like an outside the box type of thing that I'm not thinking about. But for the most part, since like most of my predictions have been kind of spot on in a way, that's just how I'm viewing the show right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and I kind of said this before. I mentioned how we're at a point that and it's safe to say this, but we're at a point in the show that we really can't predict too much anymore. Like things that seem like, okay, this is definitely happening, doesn't happen. Like, bro, we really hyped up Majin Kuu.
That's just because of the name, and he's representing Boo, and apparently Boo was incomplete, but that Boo was way better than
so
this
far.
one.
So far,
from what we know and have seen, as from a power standpoint, and it looked like Boo had more like abilities in a sense, as far as like absorption,
right?
And all that type of stuff to make him stronger.
That's true.
Well, quote unquote, because like. You can argue, I guess, what the middle Boo maybe was.
Oh, Super Boo. Yeah.
Super Boo, depending on who he absorbed and stuff like that. Like when he absorbed Gohan, he was OD strong.
Yeah, a lot of people say that that's actually the strongest one.
Which is
crazy.
I don't think.
Or maybe
he was getting mopped by fucking
Vegito.
So.
Yeah. And then he fused it, and he absorbed him.
But honestly, Vegito would have mopped Kid Buu, I feel like, too, anyway. So. Like when you put it like that, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But Kid Buu was strong as fuck. So.
Yeah.
Kid Buu strong as fuck. Kuu's not.
Right now.
They're gonna have to rename his bitch ass something else.
I really want to give Majin Kuu the benefit of the doubt, even though he was getting literally washed up.
He should have been Majin Doo Doo.
Wow.
But, I'll try to give him the benefit of the doubt since he's still alive.
Listen, like if we're to believe that they are very similar, right? And I'm talking about Kuu and Buu, there has to be something where it's like, okay, Buu was able to absorb people. And then he changed based on who he absorbed.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the inverse of that? Like, I feel like there has to be something that Kuu will be able to do that will allow him to either access more power, just overall become stronger, or something. Because there's no way. Like, it might even be as simple or as silly as them going back to Marba, a Rinsu complaining, and then Marba just says, oh, you didn't do this? And then Rinsu's like, what do you mean? And then Marba's just like, here. And then she, like, I don't know, presses on his head or pulls his ears, and then all of a sudden it unlocks all this fucking power. Like something dumb like that, because that is usually how it goes in Dragon Ball. It's like sometimes it's like it's the easiest and simplest things you would never expect for them to do. Like I'm like even on the level of, like, think back to Dragon Ball GT, where they were like, we need something stronger. It's like, oh, why don't you just pull your tail out? And I remember they had an episode where they had Goku fucking strapped up to a contraption and pulled that shit out. I'm like, that's insane. So it's like, they always have levels of humor involved, and I feel like that actually might be what ends up happening. So that way, it's like the first part was a gag. Sure, okay, haha, he sucks, whatever. But realistically, it's like, nah, they can't have my man suck like that for real.
This motherfucker reminded me of like a failed Gotenks.
Oh my god!
Like quite literally, it was like that. But it could be as quick as a quick fix could be Marba gives him something to eat, like something significant that changes his whole dynamic, or I don't know what else, but.
Okay, now how about this? I just thought of this. So it's like, we see how easy it is for Marba to make these characters. What if she literally just makes another one?
Could. And then, but the whole thing is, if they're going to like put some more lore into it, fucking what's Rinsu can ask Marba like, what base did you use to create the last boo that was more demonic?
Yeah, that's a
Shit
good.
like, and
Yeah,
shit like that. If they're gonna recreate a whole nother boo,
Yes.
because Kuu sucks. But
Right now he's a joke, unfortunately.
like that's the only thing I could think about. Cause like that is a great question. What base did you use for the original boo, or what ingredients did you put in that fucking pot? Cause goddamn, like
Seriously.
she's saying Kuu's the better version, but motherfucker can only speak.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know. And now I'm like trying to draw other like connections, like, yeah, because like I don't want to accept that this is it for Majin Kuu. There's gotta be more. Hey, you know what? What if she just makes another one with some alterations, and then they just absorb each other, and then they become a better super Kuu, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. They got, because I'm telling you, they can't do that to us.
That can kind of be possible in a sense, because I mean, that was Boo's whole thing, was absorption in a sense, to gain more power or whatever. Like, because remember the dark gray Boo?
Correct. That was all the evilness
that absorbed fucking Fat Boo and then became Super Boo.
It was like a very convoluted situation. But it all stemmed from the original Boo absorbing one of the Kais, and that Kai is what turned him into the Fat Boo that we know. And then the Fat Boo eventually became like good at heart, and so he basically eliminated all of the evilness out of him, and it manifested into an entirely separate character who then absorbed that Boo.
Yep. To create Super Boo.
And created Super Boo. And then after all this, like,
once they cut down the original Boo inside Super Boo, then he became Kid Boo.
Then he became Kid Boo.
In his
the
OG,
original shit.
form.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happened. So it was a bunch of like stems.
Yeah, so maybe I don't know. Maybe they just need to, like, I don't know if Marba could do it. I mean, I'm sure she's like a witch or whatever, but like, all she would pretty much have to do is like remove certain things of Kuu to then bring him to this, expectation that we're having on him.
Because after that fight, he did not even feel like he was evil.
No,
he just felt like he was a kid.
He felt like he was just a fucking pawn,
Well, that too.
Just a basic ass character.
Right. So she gotta fix that motherfucker real quick.
No, I agree, 100%.
Because we're at episode 10. There's 10 or so episodes to go. So
yeah,
with the pace, it should happen.
Yeah.
Because I don't even remember when I said we would probably fight Tamagami 2, but we're already there into the next
11.
episode. So, because I think from the time they fought, or from last episode, I think I said maybe like 2 to 3 episodes or some shit like that we'll fight.
Yeah.
Tamagami 2. We kind of thought this episode Tamagami 1 was going to get smashed, but that did not happen. It was the reverse. So Tamagami 1 is still around. And we'll probably revisit him in the next 2 to 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Maybe 4. But with the pace, I'm pretty confident it would probably be the next 2 or 3 for sure. Because we gotta defeat Tamagami 2 first. And that'll probably take the whole episode. And if we're gonna go on a break, it should take the whole episode. And then, maybe in the middle of that fight in episode 11, then we'll see Kuu and Marba and fucking Rinsu try to fix him up or some shit like that. If not in episode 11, episode 12, we should see some type of fix.
Yeah.
Because there's no way we're being left with this character. So that's my thought in a sense, like how it's all gonna kind of come together. But that's what I'm feeling.
Okay, so all right, so this just in, right? So I'm over here looking at Geekdom's Twitter because I know he mentioned that there was a break. Now I don't know. I'm trying to find it. Now it might have been a since deleted tweet, but I'm guessing that's a good thing. So we don't have to wait like 2 weeks for episode 11. Episode 11 is still scheduled to release next week per usual. But there's some interesting things that I do want to note that he did say. And he said that, and I quote, "I want to reiterate what I said last night. Majin Kuu is not the final villain of Dragon Ball Daima. I feel a lot of people were concerned that this would be the big bad of the series due to his goofy design, but he's not. Marba is trying to recapture the magic of Buu, and that's hard. There is much more to come, and that's all I'll say." So that much we knew, but that also doesn't mean that Kuu is out of the picture either.
Yeah. I mean, after that performance, we would be disappointed if that was the case. But, we're over here trying to say there's going to be some type of revisions.
Yeah, and so then he says here, only tangible details I had about episode 10 is that there would be a ton of action, and so far halfway through there is. It's almost nonstop, and there's 3 to 4 different things going on at once, which is also true. So I must have like seen something in like a super fast passive way, because I could have sworn he said something about a break, but maybe it was just that this is like the halfway point of the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a bunch of like I'm sorry. It's just I'm just looking at his thing. Yeah, he's just sharing a bunch of screenshots from the episode. Just a reminder to keep an eye on the content of the channel. There's a ton of heavy lore about episode 10, ties into Super and explains the god hierarchy even more, which is a very good big point that we already talked about.
Yeah, one thing we should probably, I don't know if I want to say worried about, but have it in the back of our mind with the Nebu, right? Nebu, Namekian, Neba, whatever.
Neba, the old one?
Yeah, the old dude.
Yeah.
Since we got a snippet of his power as far as being able to capture all the Dragon Balls, we should keep that in the back of our mind. Because if and when, we get all the Dragon Balls together, if he's around, he might be able to fucking just capture them all at once, like he did at Earth. So I don't know if that could twist things up or whatever the case. We'll see how the interaction is in episode 11, and then that'll grasp more.
See,
thoughts.
I don't think he would. Like, I don't know. It seems a little bit more complex because remember, he did that on Earth when all the balls were in one spot, like one planet, I should say. But the 3 balls are separated among 3 worlds.
Yeah, but they're about to be brought in one world.
In
the first world,
right.
Assuming,
But right now they're in World 2 with the first one, and the second one is there because Tamagami 2 has it unlocked.
So once they get to the first world, they're all gonna be in the same realm.
Yeah, but that's
so if he's going to the first world, then that shit can't happen.
We'll see, because like we don't know if Neba's gonna join their crew.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that. It would be kind of cool if he allows Piccolo to absorb his ass.
I made that call early on. I said when it comes down to it, he may end up fusing or syncing with Neba.
But I don't know how that would affect Super storyline.
I don't
in that sense.
I don't think it would affect much.
Yeah,
because they never pay any mention to it or reference it or anything like that. So it's like certain things they could get away with because as long as they don't like do anything that would directly
tie to it,
or affect it in some way. It's like okay, I'll give you a perfect example. Like if he absorbs or fuses syncs with Neba, as long as he doesn't take on any new physical features, or if he doesn't like nothing that is visible that we didn't already see in pre or like works that came afterwards, then that's okay. Because because what would be a problem is if he absorbs them and then instead of going orange Piccolo, he's like red Piccolo or some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like if he got some new shit, but then again, who knows? because I'm holding on to the Super Saiyan 4 thing
Yeah.
because there's no way they're not gonna do it.
We need to see the tails though. I would want to see the tails.
But that could be something that gets changed. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, we are under the assumption based on previous context that this is how it works. Toriyama could say, "Yeah, I don't need them." You know what I'm saying? Like, because
just missed the visual.
I know, I do too. Like that is fact. But hey, maybe that could be something that sticks around that he holds on to when he like does it in his own way or whatever. But like just like with the Super Saiyan 4 thing, I think that if any character that has already been seen on screen that gets other forms later down in the series, if they get some new shit here, we already know that this is either going to be Demon Realm locked, or they're gonna have to have something happen where they forget everything, which I don't think is gonna happen now. At this point, I don't think they're gonna have some sort of forget or like Men in Black moment where they fucking flash a thing in front of them and they're just like, oh, like what were we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be so weird to predict because that part can go in many different ways.
Just because we're so far ahead in like the
of what we
super
know.
Shit. So anything, I don't know.
Anything
It's hard to tell.
It is very hard to tell, but let me tell you this. The one other option that could happen that I really hope doesn't, that I've left out, is if they get new forms and they just let it rock with no consequence. And they go back to Earth like nothing happened. They go back to Earth like nothing happened, but it's just like, all right, so now let's continue with the story and we'll never use Super Saiyan 4. We'll never, you know what I'm saying? Like that would be fucking crazy.
Or it's just like they don't know how to tap into it, or it's under certain circumstances or some shit like that.
Yes,
that's the only way they could transition it. I think,
oh my god,
super.
we cracked it. Okay, we cracked it. Let's applause for us. Listen, this is how it's gonna work. They're gonna land back on Earth after all this shit's done. They're gonna have a spar, and by they I mean Goku and Vegeta. You know how it goes. They're gonna have another fucking picnic. They're gonna eat, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, let's go another round." And except this time, Goku's like, "Let's use our brand new shit we just got." And they try to power up, and they can't because it's Demon Realm locked. I'm telling you that, and then that's why they never bring it up because they're like, "Oh, we can't use it here." So it's like, what's the point of
that? Would be crazy work.
It would be crazy work, and then leave it up to a character like Pansy or Glorio or anyone that they encountered in the Demon Realm to then get brought back later on into the future part of the story, like, or a Tamagami, for example, and like whatever the conflict is at the time, at that point, they're just like, oh, wow, Goku, Vegeta, like, you guys have some crazy new shit. Like, how come you don't use this? And then that's when they'll be like, oh, yeah, I almost forgot about that because we can't use it here. We don't have any Demon Realm. And so maybe that's how they reintroduce the idea of, like, using the full moon and whatever, blood sway. I don't know. I'm thinking way too far ahead right now. But that's how I feel like they might pack it up very nicely without anyone having to like forget anything or some magic timey-wimey abracadabra alakazam bullshit.
The only thing that they could like forget, or the only way I feel like they would like forget about the Demon Realm or anything that happened there and stuff like that when they go back to Earth is through the Dragon Balls. Like, because I don't think anybody has a particular power in like tap at a fucking head or some shit like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, you forget everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
I feel like if anybody would be like Whis. That motherfucker could turn back time.
He could do anything.
Exactly. So
but I don't think Whis would do that to them though. For what?
Well, I mean, yeah. No, but he's not. But again, at this point in the story, he's not even there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a circumstantial type of thing.
Yeah.
My thought.
Yeah. So that's basically the whole episode. That's literally all of everything that basically happened that was important on episode 10. Definitely take your time to check it out, especially for the showing of Tamagami 1. and also like the new lore dump that we got. I'm actually going to be paying close attention to Geekdom's videos because I know he's going to do a full-on breakdown of the hierarchy of the gods, and hopefully I'll have a better understanding of it after I watch him explain it for the Sunday night post show that we're going to do. So make sure you guys are letting us know all your thoughts. How did you think of episode 10? What are your predictions on episode 11 and on? And also, tell us if you think any of what we said here makes fucking sense, because that shit is actually kind of crazy. So, of course, it is now that time for your Patreon a shout out. All right. If you already know the drill, good. But if you don't, all you got to do, hit us up. Full Power Podcast over on the Patreon page. You're going to get your name rapped out just like this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get it. Jayante Sheridan.
Jayante.
Anthony Parker.
Park that bit.
Lord Payne. Worse than the Demon.
Demon time.
Dante TX. Sorry. And Jarek Rivera.
Jarek Rivera.
We got Mr. Back Again Once Again.
We back again once again.
Odd Man Out.
Never count him out.
We got Soul Awakens.
Wake your ass up.
Super Saiyan Sauce.
And Super Saiyan.
Travis Boyette.
Travis.
Vegeta Uchiha.
Vegeta Uchiha.
And our boy with the freaking big old bald head with the juice. Juice. Okay. Guys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, boys, children of all ages, that is going to be it for us. Episode 176 down the pipeline. Don't forget about the post Daima show that's coming up Sunday night around like 10:30-ish. I work on Sundays, so bear with me and everything like that. We usually go for about an hour or so, but what makes us keeping on going is when y'all keep flowing with your chats and supports and all that good stuff. So, but of course, as always, before we actually get on out here, brothers, what do you got left for people at home?
Same John as always, you know, stay fresh, stay clean, get yourself a nice fucking cologne, couple sprays, stay fresh.
All right, sounds good. And what I will leave you guys with is, of course, stay up, stay positive as best as you can, stay moving, and keep your goals in check, because there's always going to be some roadblocks. It doesn't mean that the journey is over. I'm going to keep trying to say shit like that for as long as we do this. And also, as always, last reminder, not only just the Patreon, but make sure you guys are following and subscribing and supporting whatever links I got in the description. Please give them a check out as far as my Twitches, with the reactions, with the games and all that stuff. I've been on that Marvel Rivals, fucking on that Marvel Snap, on that Pokemon TCG Pocket. I'm only 2 chapters away from beating Final Fantasy VII fucking Rebirth for the first time. It's been too long. Hopefully I can do it by the end of the year. But yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up. And also, I haven't plugged this in a bit, but Power Rangers Academia, we're going to be playing that new beat 'em up over on my Twitch gaming channel. And I'll probably put up whatever videos about that on the PRA channel later on down the line. And then I'm wearing my Spider-Man shirt, in case you guys could not see.
Spidey.
And that's because I came back from seeing Kraven the Hunter. So if you want to see and hear my thoughts, along with our boy Housetop, who's also been here on the Full Power Podcast before, head on over to the Incredibly channel, link in the description below for that as well. So as always, it's been your boys. We'll be here on the Sunday night post show, and we'll see y'all next time.